Daredevil Season 1 was better than The Penguin. We're starting with the hard questions. Isn't this a great opportunity to bring him back into the fold as Kang?
Restitution is just that, right?
Yeah.
For some.
When we were brand new, we had some take, and they made videos talking shit about our take, telling people not to watch our stuff, which is fine.
Right.
But don't come on our page, on our takes, on our videos, and tag these guys and ask them their takes. Go to fucking Comics Related and ask him his own take.
Right.
There's one comic podcast on TikTok that never did that shit to us, and it's the Escape Pod. So, kudos, cheers to those guys. I think they're great. Everybody else, fuck y'all. Anyways, that's just how I feel today, dude. I woke up, as Kendrick Lamar said, I woke up and chose violence.
Your 10-year-old is beating your ass. Talon's beating your ass. The zombie's beating your ass.
Yo.
And conveniently, Talon kills everybody that knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Absolutely.
So,
yep. What a hell of a guy. Dude. What a fucking great guy. How's Sam Wilson fighting Red Hulk?
Right.
Like, he's just a dude. Hulk would just snap in half like a fucking Slim Jim.
Right.
The X-Men have not truly been done justice in live action yet. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
It's getting frosty
you got
outside,
a hoodie on, dude.
Yep,
Look at
that's
that,
it.
dude. I'm liking it. Life is good, action.
Because life is good.
It is good, dude. It is brisk out.
Yeah.
I got one tree in my yard that still has leaves, dude. It's hanging on. Everything else is all over the fucking place.
So the city planted a tree in front of my house, right? You know, on
Okay.
that part that
They own.
they own, but you own if somebody slips and falls on it.
yes.
So that one's is like full. The leaves are dead, but they're still on the tree.
Got it.
And the ones that affect me the most in my backyard, right? There's a tree in the neighbor's yard, and the leaves are holding on, and I'm waiting for them to drop, and then I go back and do round 2 of leaf collection.
So is the city going to come clean up the leaves from their tree?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Just wondering. Yeah. But yeah, it was a nice ride in this morning, dude. Actually, it wasn't. You know, you're on the highway and you get the left lane and the right lane.
Right.
Like, you get this. It's pretty fucking basic, right? If you like to drive slow, you stay in the right lane, right?
Yeah.
The left lane is for passing,
Right.
Not driving slightly faster than the people. It's for passing.
And it most certainly isn't for what do you call it when you do paralleling the car? You go fast enough to get next to the car and then you stay there.
Yep.
It's not for that either.
No. So there's some of that going on today. So, and then also I get off the highway and some guy runs a red light on a bicycle. I'm like, what is happening this morning?
Bicyclists, I mean, cities go through a lot to accommodate you.
Yeah.
But you're not a car.
For real.
So, and you most certainly shouldn't be switching up. You know, you're a bicyclist until you get to some place that you want to be a car, and then you're a car. And cars aren't looking for you.
No.
In car places. They're looking for you in the bike places.
Right.
So it's on you, dude. But what happens, then the city pulled a switch on you, right? Well, you hit this bicyclist. Well, he was in a lane. He ran through a red light. He ran through a stop sign. You know, does all this stuff. Anyway, that's the other stuff.
That's the other stuff. This is Only Comics, by the way, where we discuss comics and only comics.
And clearly other stuff, too.
Other stuff. But we got a bunch of news going on this week, dude. Another big week. We're getting close to Thanksgiving. Got Thanksgiving coming up next week.
Yeah.
We got Christmas around the corner, you know. But there was a big movie that dropped. This is not really comic related, but Wicked. So Wicked dropped this past week. Universal Studios, Universal Pictures. I thought it was Disney at first. It's not. And Wicked is it's a movie that is based off of a Broadway show that's based off of a book that ties into The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
So it's a story about the witches, the Wicked Witch of the West, and then the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz, but their kind of backstory, and then kind of how the Wicked Witch became wicked. But it's a really cool story. My daughter wanted to go see it. We went and checked that out. But the reason why I'm bringing it up, dude, this movie opened up this past weekend with over $165 million at the global box office. So one of the biggest movies of the year. So kudos to Universal. And it's why I think it's cool is it's not a comic book movie. It is a fantasy, has similar elements, right? But we're in this, like, everyone, says that superhero movies ruin the box office and all this shit. And I don't believe that. I just think you guys need to make better movies.
Right.
So, like, this is not a superhero movie, but it did superhero movie type numbers. Well, it's a good movie, good story, good promo. So I feel like a lot of times these directors blame, the success of the MCU and other movies. They blame them for their own failures.
I mean, if The Godfather and that whole trilogy came out today,
right?
I think it would do just as well
Absolutely.
as it did because it's a good movie,
Yep.
right? Just stop bitching. Hey, did it do better than The Joker?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. I think our last episode here did better than the Joker.
Wow,
so, yeah, there's that. So Wicked dominating the box office. Congrats to Wicked. If y'all check this out, let me know how you felt about it. And I've never seen anything Wicked related in the past. Like I've never gone to the Broadway show or anything like that. So this is my first exposure. I went really because my daughter wanted to go, and
Right.
I didn't, dislike what I saw, but it exceeded my expectations. Okay. Something else that happened this past week, Adrian. Jonathan Majors. We've talked about our boy Jonathan Majors a lot on here.
Right.
We, he debuted as, in the MCU at least, as He Who Remains, a Kang variant. He played another Kang variant, Kang the Conqueror, in the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. And then back in December 18th of 2023, he was found guilty on one count of reckless assault, third-degree charge of harassment as a violation. He was acquitted of another charge of an assault and aggravated harassment. Long story short, he was sentenced. Marvel dropped him, right? And he was sentenced to 52 weeks of domestic violence intervention, so on and so forth. A couple other claims came out from, random women, but his original accuser filed another lawsuit after that. So in March of 2024, Jabari was her last name. She sued Majors for defamation, assault, and battery, alleging that Majors had a pattern of domestic abuse and all this stuff. But I guess him saying that he was innocent caused her to sue him for defamation. So I didn't even know this. There was still another lawsuit going on. But the reason I bring this up is just this past week, all the charges were dropped by Jabari with prejudice, so she can't bring him up again. So I saw this article. I saw a lot of people reacting and saying like, "Oh no, now Marvel's going to bring him back." This is not saying that his original conviction is like removed. This was her other lawsuit that she then dropped. I still think it's a good thing for him, but I don't think that this is going to cause Marvel to undo what they did right away because this is a complete separate charge. But it's intriguing that she was so gung ho about trying to sue him for what he already got convicted for. And now she, dropped all charges with prejudice. So I don't know what changed or anyway, but I do think it's a good thing for his acting career as a whole.
No comment, dude.
Okay.
I have plenty of comments, but no comment.
Got it. So he is definitely, I forget what movie it was, but he was in some movie earlier this year. He is starting that, kind of rebuilding his acting career. All around, I think it's a unfortunate, fucked up situation. But this, maybe it leads a little bit to that idea of maybe he wasn't guilty. Maybe this chick is really crazy because you're going to have this other lawsuit and then just out of nowhere, hey, I'm all set. I don't want to say it anymore.
Wasn't she trying to protect him with the first arrest kind of a situation?
Before they went to court, yes.
Right. So she's trying to protect him before they go to court. He goes to court. These charges happen. Some get dropped. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff goes away, or it doesn't go away. But we passed that hurdle, and then she sues him for this other stuff. Yeah. Right. How do you defame somebody? Like just talk shit about them?
Pretty much.
So So she brings up all these charges and then later on drops all the charges.
Yes. After the original case, she won. Right? She, what he was charged for.
So she didn't think she got enough out of the first case?
Yeah, well, I guess that wasn't that was because of the arrest. That was that case, and then this was more of a personal lawsuit. So, yeah, she didn't feel like that was enough, I guess, at first. Now, again, she didn't say this, I'm assuming.
Right.
And then maybe it wasn't going in her favor, or maybe, I don't know. I wonder what caused the change of heart to just say, drop it all, and it's dropped with prejudice so she can never bring this back up again. It's just odd. Now, the important... Oh, go ahead.
No, dude, it's like I the stuff that people do, I mean, how much, like, John Turturro,
Yep.
right? He disappears. And we wondering like, hey, you know, what else is he doing to not be on this show, right?
Right.
So, in the same vein, what are you doing? First of all, who is this person, right? Is
The accuser.
Yeah, the accuser. I mean, is she? I don't really want to know, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying. But who was she before all of this?
I don't think she was anybody. Though.
Okay, so are you suing because you are nobody and you want to be known? Did he promise you something? I mean, we've spent way too much time on this already, but it's just you go and assassinate somebody because you are now not getting what you want out of that person.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
She was a British dancer, so she's just.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying just some. I mean, people that are great dance, but she wasn't a celebrity level like Jonathan Majors, right? He was up here, she was down here from general public recognition, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I feel like it. Now, like you said, let's move on. I think it's bullshit. Now, the important question though, now I don't think Marvel's going to do this because they're Disney,
right?
But now, isn't this a great opportunity to bring him back into the fold as Kang? He got the original conviction. He got charged. He took it right on the chin, right?
Right.
He was in another lawsuit. Now that's been dropped. So like everything that, can tie him back to this assault is now done.
Right.
He went to court, got charged. She dropped this case. Boom. Isn't now a great time if you're not, forget about the Disney mentality, but to bring Kang back. Or not just bring Kang back, bring Jonathan Majors back to the MCU.
I mean, you would think. I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Now that Trump is becoming the president, what's the first thing that shows up? Well, now he's got a court hearing to get his New York charges dropped.
Right.
So, I mean, restitution is just that, right?
Yeah.
For some.
For some, correct. For some. But yeah, I mean, we've been big fans of the idea of bringing him back as Kang for a long time. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, unfortunately. Do I think it should? 100%.
Right.
Next up, possible Court of Owls tease in the Penguin. So this is something, I didn't bring this up last week because I had a little strategy here. So we watched Batman vs. Robin, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And in that movie, you see a version of the Court of Owls story, right? You've not read the Court of Owls. No. I got you an early Christmas gift, Adrian.
Okay.
So now this is it's a little selfish because I figured if I gave that to you, you would read it, and then we can talk about it here.
All right.
So that's Court of Owls graphic novel. This takes place from a Batman continuity standpoint during I think it's the first book of the New 52 reboot. So this is probably going back to 2010, 11, something like that. DC rebooted their main stories again, and they this was the first story of that line. So Scott Snyder writes it, Greg Capullo draws it. Great art, real gringy, high detail level. But anyways, it's a really cool story. But they adapted a good chunk of that for the movie we just watched. But if you want, go to the laptop shot real quick, Adrian. I'm going to show you this. These are a couple pictures of the last episode of The Penguin, right? Remember when he goes to the court? So you see these curtains here?
Yep. Owls.
Right? So that's what the internets have been saying, right? So it has the shape of an owl. Right. It's in a court, right? And when you read into that story, it kind of lines up with one of the things that Matt Reeves has kind of teased for the Batman too. So what he said was that in that movie they were going to dig into the deeper corruption of Gotham. We saw a lot of corruption in the first movie,
right? With
the whole that pension fund that they were abusing, Thomas Wayne's a rebuild or something like that. We basically learned that all the politicians in the town are crooked, or the city. A lot of cops were on Falcone's payroll. So, but what he's saying is that the corruption runs even deeper, which really lines up with the Court of Owls, because that's their whole kind of shtick, is they've really been behind the scenes for decades upon decades running the corruption in Gotham. And in this story, this comic, the similarities to, the Batman vs. Robin does pull a lot from this as far as how they introduce the court or whatnot. So I know you haven't read this yet. You saw the movie, but I'd be anxious to hear your kind of take after reading this how you'd feel about bringing that to screen.
Right.
But I think it's great. I love the grounded approach of the Batman. It's one of my favorite things about it. Like, I tend to gravitate more towards the grounded comic stories. Right. Not that I don't like some cosmic shit, dude. Like, I love Secret Wars and stuff like that. But I just started rewatching the Daredevil show on Netflix. And I just remember how fucking awesome that show is.
Right.
But, I mean, it's so grounded. Like, he gets into a fight with one guy, and then he's on this chick's, couch for 2 days recovering. Like, it's not as fast-paced as, like, what we see in, the MCU, which I think they both have their place. But, but Court of Owls, dude, did you notice this when you saw it the first time?
I did not.
No, me neither. I mean, I thought the curtains looked a little odd, but I didn't think Court of Owls. But it makes sense. I mean, it could just be a little Easter egg, or it could really, I mean, it does show the corruption with this councilman working with the Penguin.
Right.
There's another coincidence, I guess. So in the Penguin, they shorten Oswald's name to Oz Cobb versus Cobblepot, right? The Talon in the Court of Owls' last name is also Cobb. So that could mean nothing or everything,
right?
So, how did you feel about? So we'll get into the whole movie later, but just the Court of Owls' presence in Batman vs. Robin.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not. Is it the same kind of depiction? Do they have like the same zombie kind of things in here?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That also speaks not only to their power and their influence, but also how long they've been around.
Yep.
Right. So they've developed this technology. I mean, we'll get into it, but they developed this technology to preserve their quote unquote soldiers.
Right.
Right. So they can use them however they need to use them. Very, very interesting depiction. I'm looking forward to reading this. The art is pretty good too.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glancing through it. So
Greg Capullo's
be a good read.
Yeah, speaking of zombies, dude, look at this shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I feel that's right up your alley. But yeah, so this is the owls and then the Talon in the comics. So very similar to. I picked up this bad boy, Adrian. You know I love these absolute versions.
Right.
Maybe because of my old age, I can't see shit, so I got to read these big ass books. But you mentioned the artwork. Let's look at this here. Oh, Bruce Wayne fighting the Talons.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Greg Capullo's a beast, dude. And then you have the Bat family in here. You got Nightwing and Bruce. You see their dynamic, which is I love their dynamic. Yeah. Because Dick don't give a shit, bro. He tells Bruce how it is.
Right.
He's not someone that just cowers to Batman or Bruce Wayne. But I'm looking forward. I haven't read this in a few years.
Well, apparently Damian isn't either. So.
Oh God, yeah. So I think that was the biggest difference of Batman and Robin and the Court of Owls. I don't remember Damian being in it, and if he is, he doesn't play a big role. They adapted another story of from the comics with Batman and Damian, and they kind of merged the two together. But I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Which again we'll get into in a little bit. Dude, DC's in the news this week, Adrian.
Oh, nice.
It's been a while, dude.
Well, what'd they do?
Well, James Gunn's talking pretty much.
Okay.
But this one I think you'll like, and this goes back to something that we've said a long time ago, and we've said many times here. They're listening and they're watching, right?
Absolutely.
So James, just keep listening. Dude. We'll keep feeding you. We'll keep telling you what the people want, right?
That's right.
So we've said this before. Batman, Superman, we don't need any more damn origin stories, right? Like we know the origin.
Right.
And we don't need to change the origin to make it cool for the movie. Just show us like Batman, after the origin, Superman after the origin, right? So James Gunn responded to somebody on Threads. I guess that's a Twitter-like social media platform. I don't know. But they asked him about this. Like, are you going to tell the origins again? He says, I'm not telling Batman and Superman's origin stories again because everyone knows them. And don't put Swamp Thing in the corner. That's a project in development we've actually announced. And he's an incredibly well-known character with not only some of the greatest comics of all time, but a successful film series and his own TV show. Something that could be said of only a very small handful of DC characters. So, you get two of these, James. Give me another one. Because I think he's right on both accounts. Right? Like Batman's, we know their damn origins.
Yeah.
We got it. Thomas Wayne and Martha are killed. Oh, I said it, Adrian. Martha! In the alley, crime alley, right? They're killed. Right. We get it. Batman's all depressed. And then he becomes this badass that kicks everybody's ass.
Right.
Cool.
Except for Damian.
Except for Damien. And Superman, we get it. You know, he's an alien from another planet. He's raised by Jonathan Kent and Martha, ironically, on a farm, Smallville. Goes to Metropolis, becomes basically like a Spider-Man wannabe, photographer, even though Superman came first. But we get all that. So, and he said this before, his DCU is going to be a universe that has already been lived in and occupied by superheroes, or whatever, meta people, which I like, dude. How do you feel about that? It's a completely different approach than what we've seen on film so far.
Yeah, I'm down with that because we've seen all the origin stories now, except for the Swamp Thing.
Right.
That's one worth exploring.
Yes.
Because he is not as mainstream, even though he's been popular in the past. A lot of people today don't know his origin story.
No.
So,
dude, I didn't even know he was a comic book character. I remember watching the show as a kid because, like you talk about when now we had slightly more channels than you. Like you guys had like 3. We had like 12 or 15.
Okay.
But it was only so much that as a kid you would actually want to watch. And Swamp Thing was like, I actually really enjoyed that show.
Well, I've never seen the show.
Really?
I saw the movie.
Okay.
But not the show.
Yeah. But I didn't even know it was a comic character. Did you?
No, I didn't.
But I agree with you. Some of those characters do deserve an origin, but I like what they've been doing in a lot of the recent comic movies where the origin is just a flashback.
Right.
We don't need to do we start when they're born and shit, and see all this, them growing up. Let's just show the important parts through flashbacks.
Right.
I'm in the Daredevil show, since I'm watching that. Y'all are gonna hear about that a lot now,
right?
Because I want to get through them all again before Born Again is dropped in March.
Okay.
Right, but I love the way they do the origins in that show. The episode will focus mostly on the present time, but then there's things that happen that remind him of his past, and then they tell the origin through flashbacks.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like we have to see this whole origin before we even see him, fight crime or whatnot. But, dude, I'm liking this James Gunn. Now, he also said something else, Adrian. He said that he confirmed that there is a Deathstroke film in the works. So there was a rumor probably a month or 2 ago, about DCU working on a Deathstroke and Bane movie. So he did not confirm the Bane part, but he did confirm that there's a Deathstroke film in the works, too. So how do you feel about a Deathstroke movie?
This is one of those characters where they can do very well.
Yep.
I mean, this could be like a Punisher type deal. They can do it very well, or they can pooch screw this thing. So I'm excited to hear about it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it, come to fruition. But there's always that caveat. I just hope they do it right.
Yes. We definitely hope they do it right. Did you know this, Adrian, that Deadpool is actually a ripoff of Deathstroke?
I did not know that.
So what's Deathstroke's name? Slade Wilson.
Right.
What's Deadpool's name?
There you go.
Wade Wilson. They look similar, right? And I guess Marvel has even kind of admitted it in some comics. So there was a comic where Victor Cree, Sabretooth, Deadpool called Sabretooth a ripoff Wolverine, and then Sabretooth's response was he called Wade Wilson Slade Wilson. So they kind of like, oh, I'm ripoff, you're ripoff, which is it's funny that they own it, but I mean, it fits the Deadpool character, right? To be a ripoff of somebody else, but then be completely different from a personality standpoint.
Right.
Now, Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson, they walk down an alley, Adrian. They meet in the middle. Who wins that fight?
Well, Deadpool, because he's immortal.
Right. He regenerates.
And he regenerates.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, hands down. Again, Marvel with the win, dude. Another one. Spider-Man 4 news. So a rumor dropped this past week that, well, first of all, let's back up. Sony Pictures in Japan, they may have confirmed plans for Tom Hardy and Tom Holland to finally share the screen. So they published a statement. Now, this was in Japanese, but they translated it. And this is what the translation is this. Tom Holland, who plays Peter, has already given his stamp of approval to the story. This will be a real movie that fans can respect. Is Tom Hardy, who plays Eddie in the Venom series ready to take the part. And it goes on to say, although it is his last film in the series, Tom Hardy, in fact, said, I should not say goodbye to Venom, but welcome to the final stage. Venom's story is not over. He still has a lot to do, leaving the possibility of future depictions. Then when he was asked about the crossover with Spider-Man, he praised Tom Holland as the best Spider-Man, which we've also said, and showed his enthusiasm, saying, I would like to work with him. If someone needs me, I'd be happy to participate. So people are saying that maybe Sony Pictures in Japan spoiled something. I don't know. I think this is just all kind of like you're roundabout. You're beating around the bushes, they say. Right. But the other rumor from an insider said that the Spider-Man 4 movie is rumored to be the biggest Spider-Man movie yet, which I mean makes sense, right? Sure. They get bigger with each one. How do you feel about the potential of, as much as we're not Tom Hardy Venom fans? Now, I like Tom Hardy as an actor. People like, hey, why you hate? I don't hate Tom Hardy. I just don't like the Venom character. Or his Eddie Brock, I should say. But how do you feel about that character meeting up with Spider-Man, Tom Holland's version, in Spider-Man 4?
No, I'm cool with that. Yeah. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
Venom.
Yep.
I mean, it started in Spider-Man.
Right.
So if it didn't start with Spider-Man in the movies, it should at least end with Spider-Man in the movies.
Like that.
So
yep.
I'm down for it, regardless of who's actually playing Venom.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Venom better than his Eddie Brock. His Eddie Brock is just annoying as
He's a bum, dude. Yeah. You see, every time you see him, he's a bum, which is probably why they put him in the suit,
right?
In the third one.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that depiction. And then, man, it's probably not even his fault. It's just the writing of the character. But I don't mind his Venom. And I agree. It's it's the Venom we got. You know what I mean? Right. Instead of forcing a whole new Venom for this movie, it's the one we got.
Right.
The movies were not the worst. They weren't great, but, whatever. Might as well just use it. I mean, if we're getting to the Secret Wars where everyone's going to be there, fuck it. Take the Venom we have,
I'm just waiting for them to bring the shop owner. They might as well bring her too,
Mrs. Chen, right?
Yeah.
You love you some Mrs. Chen, bro.
Because she's everywhere, dude.
She is.
she's one of those support. She's like Gordon, and Alfred. She's that supporting character that helps build the other character.
Damn, I don't know, man. You got a thing for Miss Chen, bro.
Hey.
The other rumor about Marvel Spider-Man is the Daredevil Spider-Man crossover at the street level is rumored to still happen in Spider-Man 5. So originally we heard some rumors about Spider-Man 4 being that movie where we see Kingpin, street level, almost Civil War type story. And then I think it was pushed back a few times because of the writer strikes, all this stuff. And the way it's lining up is the next Spider-Man movie is supposed to drop in between Doomsday and Secret Wars, so it's sounding like they want to go to a bigger multiversal route to tie in with those. But the Daredevil, street level, Devil's Reign-esque story is still on the plans, but just for the next Spider-Man movie. So I'm interested in that, dude.
Yeah. Anything that's got to do with Daredevil and Spider-Man is going to be good. I mean, they're right around the corner from each other.
Right. This is what the inside source here had said, Alex Perez of the Cosmic Circus. So he says that Spider-Man and Daredevil's relationship ties into Kingpin, who will be hunting down Spider-Man as his main goal as mayor to eliminate all vigilantes in New York City as a way to elevate his underground side business. That makes sense. It plays out in Born Again, but continues on after Secret Wars. He'd add that this meeting is a cog that ultimately fits into a larger story to be played, the larger story being the MCU. So it sounds like Daredevil Born Again is going to be a big piece of Marvel's story moving forward. And we'll see, I guess, the groundwork there for what happens on screen in the future. Dude, I as much as I'm excited about Secret Wars and Doomsday, I'm almost even looking more forward to this because it just sounds like a great story. You got Kingpin, who's now mayor, but he's still doing his stuff on the side, right? And he wants to, now he's going to use his authority as mayor to eliminate superheroes so they won't stop his underground side business.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like a great story, dude.
Right, yep.
Are you now? We're gonna get both allegedly, but let's play a little game of would you rather, right? If you had the choice, Adrian, of going one route or the other, the multiverse, the Secret Wars, that story, or this ground level Kingpin, Devil's Reign, street Civil War type story. One or the other.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard question.
I kind of want to say both for different reasons.
Yep.
I want to say Daredevil because you already know it.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen what the potential is.
Right.
As opposed to Secret Wars, where if it never materializes, you haven't missed anything.
Right.
But then you want to say Secret Wars because you've seen what they've done with multiversal things.
Correct.
And it's exciting. You got all this stuff, you know, like the Avengers and everything.
It's hard.
Because you've already seen Daredevil.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So if I had to choose, get out of jail card.
Yeah, get out of jail, bro.
I'm gonna go with Secret Wars.
Oh, sorry. Secret Wars. All right. Oh wow, you took the big one.
Yeah. Because we've seen Daredevil.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this thing.
Yeah.
So it's more exciting. You always will want what you don't have, right?
Correct.
So it's along that vein.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. I mean, yeah, the right answer is both.
Right.
You know. So I guess Kevin, I know they're watching. We give our blessing on both of these. Is that
absolutely?
Yeah. Yep. So yep. Good job. We might as well just make them both happen. But if I had to choose one, dude, that's hard. I think. Yeah, I think I'd go with the grounded story.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with the gritty, dark. Like, now I would definitely be missing out on the Secret Wars, but that Devil's Reign story is good. I love Kingpin as a character,
Right.
And like you said, I like what you said earlier. We've seen the potential for Daredevil because we've seen Daredevil, but what just like off to the side,
Right.
Like he's in the MCU, but he's like. You know, he's in New Jersey and the MCU's in Manhattan. Like he's just like off to the, but I'd love to see him fully immersed in the MCU and interact with Spider-Man, interact with, some of these other guys, interact with Cap, I know it's Sam Wilson, but interact with but also seeing Spider-Man and Kingpin. That's a great fight because the thing about Kingpin is he's not just some fat dude.
Right.
Bro, he can fight.
Yeah, he was the Kingpin in the comics. He was akin to like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he had that training.
Right.
And even though he's a big dude, he's looked at like fat.
Yeah.
But that's really muscle. He's like bulky muscle.
Right.
So yeah, big dude, strong dude, very capable dude.
Yeah, and quick for a big guy.
Right.
Dude, I watched Into the Spider-Verse a few weeks ago again. I love how big Kingpin looks in that. It's like ridiculous.
Yep.
Like there's a scene where he walks out of it or gets out of the SUV, but he's wider than the truck itself. It's just hysterical. And I mean, our boy Vinny D has really just killed that role.
Yeah.
So any chance to see him, like I'd love to see him beat the shit out of Tom Holland. Like, not that I don't like Tom Holland, but we see Spider-Man get beat up by Kingpin sometimes. He'll always come back. Right. But I love to see that physicality,
Right. Speaking of big, there's this guy I was watching this. There's this bodybuilder. We talk about how puny Bane was, or Batman and stuff like that. So there's this bodybuilder. They call him the Black Hulk. Which I didn't realize that there were like a rainbow of colors of Hulks.
Yeah.
But so there's a Black Hulk, Gangster Hulk.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's this actual bodybuilder. This dude is massive. He is probably 6-7% body fat, if. Yeah. But he's so big he has to take naps in the gym before he go, or he wouldn't even make it home. He has to. There's a. And what made me think about it was when you said Kingpin gets out of the car.
Yeah.
Well, immediately after his workout, he has to like wait, probably napping, right?
Yeah.
So that his body can de-swell, if that's a word. That's not a word.
Yeah, you made it up.
Sure. He has to de-swell just to get back into his car. This dude is just massive, man. I mean, and even if they put him, Bane's in a mask all the time anyway, right?
Right.
They just drop this dude in a Bane costume. Boom, there you go. But instead you put Tom Hardy. Did I say Tom Hardy? Yeah.
Hardy, yeah.
Tom
They
Hardy.
They know.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Who is your dialect coach? The Minions?
Anthony Mackie was talking about Captain America: Brave New World. So this movie comes out just right around the corner now, dude. It's February 14th, so a nice Valentine's Day present.
They finished their reworks.
I guess they must have wrapped up the what you call it, reshoots. But we saw the trailer, and I think we both were pretty impressed, right?
Yeah.
I think the one thing both of us were a little curious about, though, is like how, I think you even said, like, did he take the super soldier serum or something? Like, he's fast, he's cutting through, cars and jets. So there's a reason for that, dude. So Anthony Mackie addressed this, and he says this. However, even though Sam has no superpowers, it's his suit that promises to even the odds in Captain America: Brave New World. It's a high-tech suit.
Sure.
He says, I went to Wakanda, met with everyone in Wakanda. We had dinner. It was a great time. They threw me a welcome party. It was dope. But when I was leaving, they gave me a suit, right? I put it on. I can kick harder. I can fly faster. It gives me the ability to be more agile in my skills. So it's taken my skills to a completely different level. So that's what they're saying is. And I do think in the show they gave him the suit, right? I think at the end, because there was a couple Wakanda warriors in that show, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, and y'all, if you guys correct us if we're wrong, because we are not experts. We are only fans.
Mm-hmm. Not that.
No, we're just fans.
There you go.
But I'm pretty sure in the end of that show, they give him that suit that they made of vibranium, which would explain why he's got this. So I guess that's because Disney's never going to have this guy openly take the super serum drug, because what's that telling kids? Like, take some drugs, you know?
To enhance your performance.
Sure. Right. So how do you feel about this being that, like, does this make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I think I probably said something about that maybe a few shows back.
Yeah.
Either he's going to do the serum or he's going to get a Tony Stark-like suit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's even cooler that he got it from Wakanda.
Right.
But he needed something to even the playing field.
Yeah.
Because, again, like Ross said, you're not Steve Rogers.
Right.
Absolutely not. But you need something to be able to go after these the Captain America villains.
Yep.
Right. And Tony gave Peter a suit, right?
Right.
A $10 million suit or whatever it costs.
Yep.
With all that shit in it. Why not go to Wakanda and get an even better suit? Mm-hmm. So sure, that makes absolute sense to me.
Yeah, and that's because I think that was everyone's big hang up. Like, the action looked great. Story looks cool, but they're like, how's Sam Wilson fighting Red Hulk?
Right.
Like, he's just a dude. Hulk would just snap him in half like a fucking Slim Jim.
Right.
But the vibranium suit makes sense.
Now, further down that line, I mean, he has open eyes, has open lower face, right?
Yeah.
So as he's slicing through these jets, explain to me why he's not getting burnt up in the face and all that kind of stuff too. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Math is math.
Right.
So make the math work.
Yep. Damn. They tried, but I at least like that. Makes sense.
Sure.
I would have preferred. Now, like I said, they wouldn't do this, but take this old super soldier serum.
Yeah.
Give him the capabilities, dude, so he can go out there and really fight. We get this. We talk about the T'Challa recasting that never happened and that should have happened, and people always think, and who would you cast? Because they act like there's only one actor to play every role. Like, well, who would you recast? There's no one who could play him.
Right.
Dude, this hit me the other day.
Robert Downey Jr.
Damn.
I thought my jokes were bad.
Wow. He's done blackface before in Tropic Thunder.
Yep, there's that.
He's about the only one that did it, and there was no backlash.
That movie is funny to this day, dude.
What's he say? I'm just a guy playing another guy who's playing another guy or something like that. So, no, not Robert Downey Jr. No, definitely not him. But, one of the movies that both of us enjoyed and a lot of people are confused about is Black Adam.
Right.
Remember the guy who played, I think, Hawkman?
Yeah.
Aldous Hodge? Mm-hmm. Dude, I saw a picture of him. I'm like, dude, that would be a perfect T'Challa. He's a big guy. He's strong. He's got that presence on screen.
Yeah, that intensity.
Yeah.
He actually, I just went through. He has is it Netflix or I think it's Netflix.
Yeah.
He plays Alex Cross.
Oh, I'm seeing it right
Detective
here. Yeah,
Alex
Cross.
Frost.
Yep. Okay.
Very, very, very good show, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it's got everything in it.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I mean, I'm not that familiar with a lot of his movies, and I've only seen him in a few things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most recent would be Black Adam. He was in Jack Reacher too. He was in The Invisible Man. He voiced Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, in a animated movie.
Nice.
So yeah, but I
can see him playing that too.
yeah,
Jon Stewart.
There you go. So either one. So it just goes back to the point. There's plenty of people.
Oh, absolutely.
That could play these roles outside of just the one person.
I think he's more Jon Stewart than he is T'Challa, though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Secret Wars. So we're talking Secret Wars. Kevin Feige says the X-Men are on the way, and Secret Wars will lead us into a new age of mutants. We talked about this before here, where Marvel recently, or not recently anymore, a handful of years back, got the rights to Fox. I think the only Fox character we've seen now is only Fox movie we've seen is Deadpool and Wolverine. We've seen the Blade show up there. We've seen Elektra, the whole deal, but we haven't seen the X-Men yet.
Right.
Like the full force X-Men. We saw Beast at the end of the Marvels. But he says that I think you will see that continues in the next few movies with some X-Men players that you might recognize. Right after that, the whole story of Secret Wars really leads us into a new age of mutants and of X-Men. And then according to some inside scoop here, so the first part was Kevin Feige. This is a rumor. This will be accomplished by the creation of a new universe where mutant/X-Men have always existed in the MCU. So we both read Secret Wars, the 2015 version, a handful of months ago. So I can't tell you what episode that's in, but if you go back on YouTube, you can find it yourself.
Right.
God, what do you want for free? Jesus. But anyways, at the end of that story, it reboots the Marvel universe, right? There's all these different pieces of universes in Battle World. And then at the end, we see Miles and Peter in the same universe. We see a pretty cool end shot with Doctor Doom removing his mask and his face is no longer disfigured. So that reset the comic universe. So I see, this room. I hope this is true. It makes sense. Now, do you think that they should, essentially end the MCU and start a whole new universe? Or do you like the idea of doing this kind of reboot with a new universe, and now we're into a universe where the X-Men and the mutants have already existed, and maybe some characters continue and some don't? Because that's how it happened in the comics. How do you feel?
I'm down with how it happens it happened in the comics. That makes more sense to me.
Yep. Now, I have a theory here, Adrian. It's a small little prediction, but I think that the Secret Wars that we see will end with that same Doctor Doom reveal. And I think Robert Downey Jr. will be disfigured throughout the movies prior to that. Then I think at the end, he'll take off the mask and we'll see his, traditional face or something.
Right.
It'd be a cool little ending.
Right.
But yeah, I'm liking that X-Men. Now, I said this before, and you probably still feel the same way, but I'll test you here. The X-Men, in my opinion, have never really been done properly in live action. Like, they've never really nailed the X-Men. Is there any movie that stands out where you're like, that one they did, or no?
No. They've never gave the X-Men the full. I guess they've never done it right.
Not like a proper portrayal.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not felt.
And it's
real
not
X-Men.
just the X-Men. Even the villains.
Yeah.
Apocalypse. I mean, come on. I mean, not Apocalypse, but
Apocalypse was a disaster.
what's the first mutant?
Oh yeah, it was Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac played him.
Yep.
Yeah, it was horrible, dude.
So no, I don't think they've ever done it right. And they just every movie they continue to get it wrong.
Yeah.
It didn't get better.
Right.
Even Venom movies, Venom movies didn't get better either. So
No.
they just kind of stayed the same. I don't know. They just like this the same director, directed both movies,
Right.
and the same result.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not saying that there hasn't been good X-Men movies, but they just never fully nailed the X-Men tone.
Nah.
Like Logan, it's a great movie. X-Men 2 was great. Days of Future Past was really good. But then, to your point, there's more misses than there are hits.
Well, what we did get out of the X-Men was Wolverine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he's still around today.
Correct.
So that's, I guess, the good part about it gave birth to one of the more beloved characters
Absolutely.
on screen today.
Do you think that Wolverine is the character that they got the closest to doing justice on screen? Of all the characters that we saw in X-Men movies.
Except for the height, yes.
Yeah. And a lot of it's just Hugh Jackman, his presence.
Right.
But there was some good writing for Wolverine.
Sure.
I think they did a good job with Magneto. Mm-hmm. You know, like it wasn't a straight out miss, but they did a good job with. I like Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier.
Patrick Stewart Xavier was spot on. I think.
But then you had things like the Jean Grey.
Right.
The original one they did okay with, and then the Sophie Turner one was a disaster.
Right. But even with the original one, that was nerfed.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
That wasn't a proper portrayal. Who was the guy? Juggernaut.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Completely
that was
screwed
atrocious.
that up.
Storm.
That
That was not like, and I like Halle Berry. That's great. I do too. But it was not the Storm. We're used to Storm feeling almost like how some of the women in the Black Panther movie
that's
are
exactly
presented.
what I was thinking.
Like the Queen.
Right.
Like T'Challa's mom.
Right.
Like Storm has that type of presence in the comics.
Yep.
Having no Jubilee, having no Gambit. The Rogue was the worst portrayal ever. Like, holy shit. So yeah, it was. So that's what I mean. People are like, you're saying they're bad movies. No, dude, pay attention. I didn't say they're bad movies. I said they didn't nail the X-Men tone. You could have a good movie, but the tone not be, what it should have been. Right. So,
it's like you on the Penguin, you look into Sophia's eyes, and if you stare at him long enough, you'll go fucking crazy.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, that kind of
correct.
That's tone.
Yep. Yeah, just like the feel. Like we talk about the difference in Gotham, how it feels in the Batman and the Penguin versus like the Nolan verse, and like that tone is there.
Right.
Like, and it doesn't feel. I said this before. I think Deadpool 2 feels more like an X-Men movie than all the X-Men movies.
Yep.
And the X-Men are just a small piece of that. But it looks like it.
Well, as they are bringing X-Men into the light, right? They need to be bringing some Alpha Flight along with them.
Yes, which is a rumor.
And maybe some Hellfire Club, too.
There you go. The right way this time.
Right.
Yeah, that was the other one. They nerfed the shit out of Sebastian Shaw. I mean, Kevin Bacon did a decent job.
Yep.
But they nerfed the shit out of him.
Sebastian is a brute, dude.
Yeah.
Muscular, big, quick.
Yep.
So I don't know where Kevin Bacon came from, but,
Michael Fassbender, he played Magneto.
Right.
So this is also in the news. He teased a possible return as Magneto after showing some love to Deadpool and Wolverine. So he was talking to Collider, the magazine, I think, or the website. He says that he shared his love for Deadpool and Wolverine. He admitted he'd be open to reprising the role. This is what he said. He goes, well, I loved working with Hugh. he's an absolute gentleman. He's so talented. He says, I'm a big fan of Ryan and what he's done with the Deadpool series. He says that the Merc with the Mouth is probably his favorite Marvel character, and he'd add that he's always open to things, and it's just about time. So, would you like to see Fassbender back as Magneto now?
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
I think he was a great Magneto. He was a younger Magneto, which we're not used to, but I feel like he got the just that Magneto presence on screen. That almost duality of the he wants to do right, but he feels like they keep pushing him to the edge.
Right.
And he's really trying to save them from him. Like, even when he goes out in hiding, but then they end up killing his daughter.
Right.
Which that does take place in some comics as well. But it's like, he's kind of like, dude, leave me alone because you don't want what's going to happen. Right. And then once you do, it's a fucking wrap.
Yeah.
And he's just a great actor,
Yeah, I think so.
But I have one request, Kevin. If you bring him back, please dye his hair white. Can we please get the true Magneto on screen,
Right.
So, anyways, The Haunting of Hill House and Dr. Sleep director Mike Flanagan has pitched James Gunn and Peter Safran on a solo Clayface movie, which is now in the works, a rumor says. So this guy, Mike Flanagan, he's writing this, he's not directing. He's been vocal about wanting to be involved in a Clayface project. He describes his take as a standalone horror thriller tragedy. But the last we heard, so I was good up until this point. The last we heard is that Flanagan idea is to kind of reimagine Clayface as a good guy, not a villain. No. Nope, wrong answer. Forget about that part. What do you think about a Clayface movie? Or is he a character that doesn't need a movie?
What was that button you just pressed? That's how I feel about it.
All right, yeah, I'm with you. Now, that being said, I would like to see Clayface on screen. That would be cool.
Sure.
You know, and it would probably be more of a shapeshifter, not this big glob of clay type thing.
Right.
But I don't know that he's interesting enough, or that I even want to see them spend all this time on that character. I don't. The Penguin makes sense. I mean, I'm cool. Do a Harvey Dent. We've seen the Riddler already. We don't need to see a Joker origin. But there's all these. I mean, Deathstroke, Bane. Give me a Bane series of like the real Bane.
Right.
You know. Yeah. I don't know that we need a Clayface movie.
Clayface is like I mean, he's a hitman.
Yeah.
So you do a story about the story arc about the Penguin because he's like the boss of the hitman. You don't do shows about the hitman.
Right.
You know, he's just a street boy.
Yeah.
So no, I'm zero interest in seeing that.
Damn.
Besides the fact that we're so used to seeing Clayface portrayed in the comics and animation, it'll almost, I won't say it'll be impossible, but it would just seem too CGI.
Yeah.
To have him doing the things that he's done in animation.
Yep. Nope, not with it. Kraven the Hunter drops December 13th.
Oh, shit. That's a few weeks away.
It is, dude. Now, this is not good news. It's projected to bomb at the box office. So, this is now, I think this...
Of course, the fact that they saying that it's going to bomb is why it's going to bomb. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how they do these projections. I guess off of early ticket sales, they can at least know, like, based on how many people got their shit early, how much it will actually do. But I think this is Sony's fault. Well, obviously it's Sony's fault. But I mean, what I mean by that, it's because of their past mistakes. This movie is probably going to end up like the Marvels. Right. The Marvels was not a bad movie, right? Like I think it gets a lot of, it doesn't even really get a lot of shit. No one's seen it. And I think the reason why nobody saw the Marvels is some of the past mistakes like Ant-Man and Quantumanium and some of these movies that were hyped up and did shit. So when this one came around, people were like, I'm not going to see that shit. And it actually was a decent movie. We saw it.
Right.
I think that's what's going to happen with Kraven.
Well, besides the fact that they're saying, you know, we predict this movie's going to bomb. Well, I'm not going to go see this bomb movie.
Right.
Come on, dude.
But, I mean, based on what I saw in the trailers, dude, I want to see this shit.
Me too. I'm surprised Rotten Tomatoes wasn't in that sentence.
Yeah, well, that'll be next week. They'll shit all over it.
Right.
But this is the third rated R superhero movie coming out this year. So Deadpool, Wolverine, and Joker Part 2 were the first two. It's on track to do, I guess, Morbius numbers, an estimated 20 to 25 million. Now, Madam Web was one of the worst movies at the box office this year. That movie did 15.3 million in its first weekend. So it's going to be better than Madam Web, but not as good as anything else, according to these projections. Yeah, Box Office Pro says there's a very real chance that Kraven's entire domestic run could fail to exceed even the opening weekend take of Venom: The Last Dance, which that was domestic opening 51 million. So lowest, and that was the lowest of Sony's 3 Venom films. Not good, dude. But I think it's sad because it's now, who knows? We could see it may be one of the worst movies ever.
Right.
But it doesn't seem that way from the trailers.
Swinging down to Eternals. Wow. If it's that bad, well, we'll have something to talk about for the entirety of 2025.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's funny because sometimes the bad movies, they're better conversation pieces.
Right.
And you only say something's great so much, or glaze it, as the kids say.
What's the word?
You glaze. You glaze in it. Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Probably something very inappropriate, but yeah, it sounds like you're hyping something up. You're like back in our day, would say you're sweating that.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you're glazing it. Like it's usually when it's undeserved praise. Like I love Tom Hardy's Bane so much. Like bro, y'all stop glazing Tom Hardy. So
Okay.
Yeah, you learn something new. It's an educational program, Adrian.
It is.
It really should be on. What's that network? Not CBS, but like those, public access. We should be on there too.
Okay.
Right after Bob Ross. So Marvel,
PBS.
PBS.
Broadcast,
There you go.
Public broadcast.
Yeah, we'll be on there soon. Dude.
Is that still around?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Right.
Because with all the knowledge we're dropping here, we deserve to be on that motherfucker. Yep. So, anyways, hey guys, get PBS on the line. These guys are fucking sleeping in there. We need some new interns.
Absolutely.
Last piece of news, Adrian. Marvel rumored to want Lady Gaga to star as Dazzler in the MCU. You got the perfect actress. Well, she's not even an actress, but you got the perfect person to play Dazzler. You got Taylor Swift.
Right.
She looks like Dazzler.
So one, and we haven't heard anything about this, so it's unconfirmed, but I predicted that she was going to outshine Joaquin Phoenix in Joker. Now, the movie did bad, but that doesn't mean that she didn't do that.
Right.
Right? But so now she's getting this other attention, right? So her as Dazzler, I don't see. However, if Taylor Swift plays Ivy, then she can have Dazzler.
Okay. Yeah, you're big on that Taylor Swift Ivy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've never seen Taylor Swift act, and I feel like Dazzler character.
She's with a football player. She's acting every day. Come on, dude.
I feel like Dazzler would be a easier progression into acting for her because, I mean, it's essentially a singer. It's the same type of character almost.
Right.
Poison Ivy, I want to see someone who's, as they say, got some chops. I want someone who can really, Amy Adams is one that I think could pull off a Poison Ivy. I mean, even Emma Stone, I think, is one who played Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider. I mean, there's plenty of them, but
Not feeling Emma Stone.
No? Okay.
No. But
Bryce Dallas Howard
don't know those names.
from Jurassic World.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Get James Gunn. Get James on the phone
There
too.
you go.
It would solve all the world's problems here once a week.
Yep. That's it.
But all right, well that's the news and rumors. We like to wrap that up with a little thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you ready, Adrian?
Let's do it.
All right, we're back to a lot of news this week. So number one, Wicked dominated the box office this past weekend with a $165 million opening. I give this a thumbs up.
Good for them. I didn't see it.
You didn't see
Thumbs up.
Jonathan Major's ex-girlfriend has dropped her assault and defamation lawsuit with prejudice. I mean, I give that a thumbs up. I give the whole situation a thumbs down because it's a lot of nonsense.
Right. For the news, thumbs up.
Possible Court of Owls tease in the Penguin. I give this a thumbs up, dude. Let's bring on the Court of
Thumbs
Owls.
up.
James Gunn confirms no DCU Batman or Superman origin stories. Thank God. Thank baby Jesus. Thank Santa Claus. Thank fucking everybody. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
He also confirms plan for a Deathstroke film. Give that a thumbs up.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm bringing the positivity with the
Right.
news this week,
DC coming in strong after
They
being
are,
silent
dude.
for so long.
Yeah, 19 years it was roughly, give or take. Spider-Man 4 rumored to be the biggest Spider-Man movie yet. Thumbs up. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
The bigger the better, right?
Yeah.
Marvel rumored to return to street-level Daredevil Spider-Man crossover in Spider-Man 5. Give this a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Also heard that Spider-Man may make a little cameo in Daredevil Born Again, so that'd be cool.
Yep.
Anthony Mackie explains how Sam Wilson in Captain America Brave New World can go toe-to-toe with Red Hulk. Well, it's the vibranium in the suit he received in Wakanda. Yeah, thumbs up.
Well, it's more than just a vibranium because the vibranium doesn't make him faster, stronger, all that kind of stuff. It just absorbs impacts.
Yeah.
So it's like Cap's shield. It has vibranium in it, but just because it's in it doesn't mean that it's a weapon.
Right.
He makes it the weapon.
Well, it's his Wakandan suit then.
Right. There you go.
But I give that a thumbs up.
Yep, thumbs up.
Kevin Feige says the X-Men are on the way and that Secret Wars will lead us into a new age of mutants. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Michael Fassbender teases a possible return to Magneto after showing love to Deadpool and Wolverine. Another thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I'm tired of giving thumbs up. It's something bad, right? The Haunting of Hill House and Dr. Sleep director Mike Flanagan has pitched James Gunn and Peter Safran on a solo Clayface movie, which is now in the works. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Don't want to see it. Kraven the Hunter projected to bomb at the box office when it arrives in theaters on December 13th. I give this a thumbs down, too. And this thumbs down is more towards Sony for screwing up some fucking amazing characters. Right. Fuck you, Sony.
Thumbs down.
You know, God damn it.
Language.
Marvel rumored to want Lady Gaga to star as Dazzler in the MCU. Over Taylor Swift, really? Thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down.
Yep.
Yeah, thumbs down.
We ended on some negativity, so
go.
it's all balanced out, Adrian. We're talking X-Men, right? So I have a special little theme to hit or miscast this week.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it's X-Men. So hit or miscast if you're new with us. If you're new with us, hit subscribe, like, comment, do something, buy some merch. I don't know. By the way, nice Hulk hat, dude.
Thank you.
That's the OG green Hulk.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You don't have a red Hulk.
I don't have a red one or a black one.
Nope.
Or a purple one.
Damn.
Or a blue one.
Shit.
Or a brown one.
None, just the green.
Just the green.
I bet there's going to be some Red Hulk merch coming pretty soon, though, with this movie. So
yeah.
But hit or miss cast is where I throw out some casting choices from the past in comic book movies, and Adrian lets me know in his opinion if they were a hit or a miss, right? So notice I said his opinion. So don't fucking say he's wrong. Shit. Pissing me off today. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
Hit.
Number 2, Sophie Turner as
Miss.
Number 3, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique.
Jennifer Lawrence, Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence, miss.
Yes. James Marsden as Cyclops.
Hit.
Brian Cox as Colonel William Stryker. The X2 one.
I'll say hit only because I can't even remember his face. He's not like a factor in these movies to me.
Got it. Well, he's a big role. He was the main villain in the second one, going after Wolverine. But so you said Fassbender hit. I agree. Sophie Turner, one of the giant misses of the entire. And then I think one of my biggest issues with the X-Men, I guess the prequel series, the First Class, Days of Future Past, is the fact that they use Jennifer Lawrence's popularity from other movies,
of course,
as a reason to make Mystique the lead hero. It's ridiculous.
And wasn't she the one complaining about the suit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she did First Class, and then she did the Hunger Games and became really popular. They wanted her back. Now she's like this movie star, right? So she's like, I don't want to sit in makeup for, 12 hours, whatever. And I'm sure it sucks, pain in the ass to get paid millions to sit there and have people paint your body.
Right.
I'm sure that's horrible. I really feel bad for your quality of life. But that being said, the movie suffered because, and this is not her fault, because of the studio's idea of, hey, let's use this popular actress and change the story. Like, dude, maybe people show up for the actors, but they stick around for the story.
Right. Well, they did the same thing with Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
From Game of Thrones. Right.
And they did the same thing when they did the first couple X-Men movies with the black suits. Well, The Matrix did well because they had black suits. Dude, that's not why it did well. Right. There's plenty of movies with black suits that fucking suck.
Right.
One of the best things that has ever happened to the X-Men universe is Fox going under and Marvel scooping it up. So, anyways, well, that's hit or miss cast. Let us know if you agree or not with these. Oh, James Marsden. So, you said hit a Cyclops.
Yep.
I'm always kind of torn on this because I feel like they didn't do Cyclops justice from a story writing standpoint.
Oh no, they didn't
At all.
And so I separate the actor from the writing.
Right. Because he did do a good job of taking what they gave him.
Right.
But it was a big miss because he looks the part.
Yep.
He's a great actor. Again, I think they, as Tony Stark would say, they pooch screwed him.
Right.
And then, we've said enough about Sophie Turner. It was just horrendous. Moving on, Batman vs. Robin animated movie review. So I think the first time I saw this movie was over 5 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And this is during that time where DC was just killing it with the animated movies, one after another. Because this was the sequel to Batman and Son or something like that when he first finds out about Damian.
Right.
You've seen that one, right?
I'm sure I have.
When Talia just shows up, like, yo, here's your son.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they, you see. So first of all, this is as you would call it, a straight to DVD movie. Right. Came out 2015. And the overall theme was like justice, not vengeance. Mm-hmm. This is a older, more mature Batman. We see, Dick is already Nightwing. Mm-hmm. And Damian is now Robin, but Damian's a little fucking hellion, dude.
Right.
Holy shit. You like the Damian character?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you like about him?
The fact that he's in your face, he knows his shit.
Yes.
And he uses his grandfather a lot.
Yep.
Against everybody. And the fact that he's perfectly positioned between the Batman and Batman's greatest enemy.
Right.
Which is, so you got his father on one side and his grandfather on the other side.
Yep.
But a 10-year-old assassin dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man. In the end, I mean, this dude 10 years old climbing the Himalayan mountains, going to some monastery.
Right.
This shit's crazy.
It is, and I love like how Bruce has all the faith in the world. Like he knows he's a badass. Like now, like just the fact that he sent him there.
Right.
He knows like you'll be fine. He'll be all right on his own.
Right.
I like too when Dick pointed out that every time Bruce fought your grandfather, he kicked his ass,
right?
Because he was using that the whole time. Uh-huh. But I like that overall justice, not vengeance. It's almost like we get to see. Now Damian's a little more extreme, but some of the early Batman in Damian, because early Batman he didn't kill, but dude he about killed. Like
right.
He broke your legs, you're paralyzed, all kinds of shit. Like that's one of the things about the Daredevil show. When Claire tells him like that guy you threw in the dumpster, he's now in a coma. It's like,
right.
oh shit. Like, but that's how Batman was early on too.
Right.
And he scaled it back when he learned, justice, not vengeance. The doll maker is in this, dude. How'd you feel about the doll maker?
I mean, that's almost like a perfect psychopath.
Yeah.
The way they portrayed him. And then him, getting his heart snatched out by Talon.
Right.
That was fitting. Mm-hmm. Outside of what Batman is teaching Damian and what Damian is fighting off himself,
right?
Which is the whole reason that he was attracted to Talon, right?
Yeah.
So, but that character was like it just felt
like icky.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like you need to take a shower after that scene,
Yep. And that's one thing,
which is good writing.
Absolutely. And that's, I guess I'm going to talk about Daredevil a lot because there's a lot of similarities between these characters. Minus the whole. I guess to me, Daredevil is a blind, poor version of Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Right. Like his main now, that'd be even. I think, Matt Murdock almost becomes the mask, and Daredevil is who he really is. Right. But
wait a minute. So if Daredevil is the poor Batman, then who is Daredevil's Superman?
Oh, that's a good question. Would it be Spider-Man?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a good dude. We just look at this, bro. It's like poetry in motion right here. But watching, I guess one of the biggest things I noticed about the Daredevil Batman in rewatching some of this and watching this movie in the same weekend was they both target, especially early on, the worst fucking criminal. Like you mentioned, doll maker, and there's a lot in the beginning of Daredevil. He's targeting people that are human trafficking.
Right.
It's not like you rob the bank, you're stealing shit from Walmart.
Right.
These are people, doing the dirtiest, the horrible shit, which I guess it makes that justice vengeance question even more important, right? Because it's hard to say, you stole, from a bank, we should kill you.
Right.
But it's kind of easier to go, you're hurting little kids and shit. We probably should kill you. Right. So it really makes you question that, and you see Batman and Robin, Damian kind of deal with that.
So was the doll maker like transforming kids? Did I see like weapons like for limbs?
Yes.
Or were they just carrying these things?
No, I think he was transforming them almost on some zombie type shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they jumping out the ceiling and all kinds of, wow, dude.
Yeah. It's funny because it was similar to what the Court of Owls were doing to these people, right? Turning them into these other creatures, if you will. And we see Batman and Robin. Batman thinks that Damian, ripped the heart out. And then Damian's now even more pissed because you thought that of me.
Right.
Even though it is kind of something you would do, right?
Well, I mean, technically, he's the only person in the forest with the doll maker.
Right.
And now he's on the ground with his missing a heart.
Correct.
So, yeah, I mean, I would probably throw that blame toward him, at first glance, too.
Yep. Now, of course, we have to see a Batman parent's death flashback in this, naturally.
Sure. Naturally.
But we see the Court of Owls is something that Batman doesn't even believe exists. It's like a nursery rhyme almost. It's a bedtime story, I guess. You notice the long table, like in the Tim Burton Batman movies when Batman's sitting with the girl Samantha. Yeah, and he's at that long-ass fucking table. Remind me of the Michael Keaton scene.
Right.
What'd you think about that? Her character, Samantha Vaniver.
She was drawn hot.
Yeah. Yep.
It was cool, the duality.
Yeah.
The two roles. She was, sleeping with both men.
Right.
And of course, Bruce Wayne knew it. I mean, Batman knew about it.
Correct.
Whatever. He just let it, happen anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then she was the main Court of Owls. She was the head of the Court of Owls.
She was the Grand Master or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, how does Batman always get with the chick that's the villain and not know it? Like, come on. Seriously?
Well, I mean, you're letting your own son, 10-year-old son, beat your ass. I mean, of course you're going to, get with a villain and not know it.
I thought that was a good twist, though, because I didn't remember that from the first time that she was the Grandmaster.
I didn't either.
I remembered that she was part of the Court of Owls, but I didn't remember her being the Grandmaster.
Right.
That was a cool little switch. So, yeah, she's banging the Talon and Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And the Talon is manipulating Damian. He gives him the little sigh, and then, he's like on like missions with him and shit.
Right.
Yeah, Damian's kind of walking that line. I thought it was cool when Batman gets scooped up by the Court of Owls. Like, I always like seeing when Batman's pushed to his limits, and we see that in here.
Right.
And how'd you feel about the ending with the Bat Cave, the frozen fight, and then Damian kind of coming back to the good side, if you will?
Well, first of all, clearly, I mean, I just kind of felt bad for Batman because your 10-year-old beating your ass, Talon's beating your ass.
Right.
I mean, because toe to toe, Talon would have killed him.
Yeah.
That's what it was just, and it was cool that he got into Batman's car in the Batcave and drove it at him. Drove it at him. That was cool.
Yep.
So that whole Alfred figuring out, how to deep freeze the entire Batcave.
Which Damian found out and called him.
Right, right. No, but Alfred had to go and actually make it happen.
Right.
So, but of course, Alfred and Batman is immune to the cold while everybody else is, freezing in spot.
Yep.
So I thought the whole attack on the house was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought there was going to be more mayhem. Batman's doing all this, gymnastics and martial arts and all this stuff, and Alfred is just boom.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. It's kind of sense. And the whole bat suit, mechanical suit, that was kind of a waste. I mean, it was cool graphics. Yeah,
but then he drove the damn car to it, and it was done.
Yep. So, I mean, it was all in all cool, but through this whole thing, I'm thinking, damn, Batman, it's not your best day.
No, yeah, this movie is really a shitty few days for Batman.
Right.
I like Nightwing.
you getting cheated on.
Yep.
You got drugged.
Right.
You got in a car accident, head on collision in a car accident. You get kidnapped. You have flashbacks to Martha. You envision that your son grows up and kills you. Martha. Right. You die in his arms.
Right.
Your 10-year-old is beating your ass. Talon's beating your ass. The zombie's beating your ass.
Yo.
I mean. I don't know, dude.
But you know what, Adrian? After all that, going through everything you just mentioned, this is why Batman's the shit. Because who came out on top?
Well, he was the shit in this movie.
But when it was all said and done, when the fat lady sang, Batman came out on top.
Well, Damian let him be on top.
True, and Talon killed himself.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was
and conveniently, Talon kills everybody that knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Absolutely.
So,
yep. What a hell of a guy. Exactly. What a fucking great guy. But it was a fun movie, dude. I enjoyed revisiting it. And I guess it was almost bittersweet because I think that era of having these little standalone animated movies that, they're not 2 hours, like an hour, 19 minutes.
Right.
I think that's over because of these big cinematic universes. So it's good and bad,
I think it'd be a travesty if they did that, dude.
Yeah.
To take away that kind of stuff, because Batman, Daredevil, I mean, all these metas have story arcs that could be told this way.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a great thing. I also like the art in this one. It was
cool.
It was close to like Japanese animation.
Yep.
So I like the detail, but it was dark.
Yeah.
The shadowy and all this kind of stuff. So very cool.
Yeah, I think DC from the animated side has always done a good job with their Batman movies from that standpoint. They are, and even like I think Hush is done in the same art style.
Right.
And then you have the Long Halloween. It's similar, but it's even more dark and more textured. But they've done a really good job with that. What I would love to see, and we've said this before with the the Marvel animated the MAU that they should create, but we have the on-screen live-action cinematic universes. They should do the same thing in animation. They started with X-Men '97.
Right.
I think you could take that story and kind of do the opposite. Like with the movies, you're going from Avengers, and then you're going to lead into the X-Men. Why not take the X-Men and now lead in, because these other people do exist in that universe, and expand that into just a Marvel cinematic universe. Do the same thing with DC. Stand alone. It doesn't need to tie into the live action. But to your point, there's so many cool stories that I think sometimes are easier to tell through animation.
Right. Absolutely.
Like Across the Spider-Verse, we're not at a point where they could tell that story in live action.
Right.
It's done in animation. It's done phenomenally, and I think that DC is they should continue this. I guess.
Yep.
So there's my 2 cents, James Gunn. What would you give this movie a score 1 through 10? What would you rank this?
I'd say probably 8.
8.
8.5.
Yeah, I'd say probably
somewhere.
7.5. Excuse me, I have to stay hydrated. So if you're watching, stay hydrated. Take a swig of water with us.
It.
You get no coffee today or no hot water, Adrian. What's going on here?
I had it already.
Oh, you damn.
Been up for a minute.
Okay, you were ready. I have a Did You Know, Adrian. I think it's maybe it's a new segment every week, or just whenever I find something that I think is intriguing. Okay, so did you know that Sony had the opportunity to buy the rights to every Marvel character in the 90s for $25 million?
I did not know that.
No.
And I'm so happy that they didn't.
And yeah, guess what they didn't do? They didn't buy it. So I guess their stupidity really goes back deep.
Right.
So they were, I guess, a former Sony junior business executive, Yari Landau, was on a podcast recently and revealed that Sony Pictures had the chance to acquire every Marvel Comics character for $25 million. This is back when they were trying to obtain the Spider-Man rights, so it would have been like probably mid to late 90s. Now, Disney bought all of the characters, or not all of them because they didn't buy the Spider-Man, but everyone outside of the Spider-Man universe they bought in 2009 for $4 billion. Dude, you could have bought it for $25 million and then flipped it for $4 billion.
Right, or more.
Now, I'm sure Sony's not hurting for money, but, dude, that's
right.
Somebody would have got a promotion for that one. At the time, Sony saw no value in the other characters who weren't Spider-Man.
Wow.
You imagine that? Like,
wow.
You saw no value in
Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Panther, Silver Surfer, Galactus. I mean, The Watcher.
So many.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything.
Insane. No value at all. And then they paid $10 million for the Spider-Man characters. $15 million more, they would have owned everybody. Now, Marvel had just emerged from a bankruptcy. They had no money, and they had these rights, so that's why they started selling them off. But I guess good thing for Marvel that Sony didn't pick these up, because we would have never got the MCU that definitely, just reign supreme over Sony's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how shit happens, but dude, you had that opportunity.
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, the fact that they put so much into the Spider-Man character, which means that if they saw no value in other people, they wouldn't have developed them probably at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not that what you're saying is we wouldn't have just not had the MCU. At the very least, we wouldn't have had the version that we got.
Right.
So thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah, this ain't thumbs up or thumbs down, but yeah, we're definitely giving. Holy shit.
Wow, talking about a miss.
Oh my God. So, and this is what the guy went on to say. He said that because he called them idiots. He said every single character they control was on the table as part of the deal. The collective team decided they didn't care about the other Marvel properties. They didn't want to invest in them. I was told nobody gives a shit about anybody but Spider-Man. I thought they were idiots. That's what they thought. My marching orders were to just go back and get Spider-Man. So this guy's in the middle, like, knowing it's a dumbass idea. I mean, anyone who's worked a job knows that sense. Like, this guy wants me to do this. This is just ridiculous. But hey, he's in charge. We'll do it. You know. So this is where this individual was caught up in. But that's some crazy shit, dude.
Wow.
But anyway, so yes, thumbs up on Sony for being stupid because you saved us all. Now I just wish they wouldn't have bought the Spider-Man right. It's hard because we got good Spider-Man movies, but it would have been nice to have Spider-Man more. It would have been nice to have all these characters in the same universe, which sounds like we're going to get soon. So, moving on to We Respond. Dude, people were a little upset last week because we didn't have enough time for We Respond because I was doing some yapping, they said. So, I dedicated more time than We Respond this week, Adrian. Right here, matter of fact, Iffy_SA says, going to need less yapping from Mike in next week's episode so we got more time for We Respond. He says, I kid. Another awesome episode. Scarlet Witch carried Doctor Strange 2, in my opinion. That line she hit Strange with on some, I hope you understand that even now, this is me being reasonable, actual chills, which, we talked a lot about that. Like, dude, she had some killer lines in that. Like, what he told Reed. Yes, about the kid.
You have another. The kids have
a mother.
A mother, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she was a savage, dude.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Yep. So we agree, Iffy, and yes, less yap. Well, the thing is I just do We Respond and I can yap here. It's a win-win, Iffy. Woder Kalers. Okay, Woder Kalers, the best comic podcast I listen to. Which I agree. And then he says this. He says, by the way, you have a fan from Malta, a small island near Italy. Dude, we're getting out to all the little pockets of the multiverse.
I've heard of Malta.
You have?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go there and we'll check out Walter Kalers or something. But we appreciate the love from the other side of the pond.
I wonder how far that is from, because I've been to La Maddalena, Italy. Which is like, I believe it's like a small island or a small offshoot somewhere. Just curious. But nothing to do with this.
No, but we'll have to find that out. Well, let us know, Walter. But we appreciate the love from the other side of the pond, as they say. And actually, I got some news on that. OnlyComicsMerch.com now ships internationally.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for the delay. It was really just a feature I had to go on and turn on through the... whatever. That's the other stuff. But it was my own fault. So Charles Mon 877 says the podcast is great. Love the chemistry. Thank you, Charles. Sons of Sekhmat, he's back. Adrian played D&D. You played D&D? You mentioned that?
I did. Yeah.
He goes, what is his favorite character? He says, I'm guessing it was Paladin.
Yeah. It was so long ago. I don't remember, dude. Seriously.
Sorry.
But when we played that dude, we were like, it was like the whole floor. This was when I was in the Navy. I was going through school in the Navy.
Okay.
And my whole floor would play Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Yeah. It was awesome, dude.
I've never played.
No?
Nope. I actually know some friend.
It makes sense. I mean, it didn't require electricity to play.
Okay.
And everything everybody does today, requires electricity.
Absolutely. My wife's cousin actually, he's a kid. One of my best friends growing up. He's been doing this game, not Game of Thrones, D&D. He's the guy who makes the story, whatever that's called, like the campaign.
Yep.
He said he's been doing one for like years, dude, like 5 or 10 years or something, like the same ongoing. So I don't know anything about it, but I was like, no shit, that's impressive.
This stuff is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Braidner Skin. Braidner Skin again. Yeah, he's back. Braidner Skin. What's up, Braidner Skin? I don't know why you're braiding people's skin, though. This sounds very like Silence of the Lambs.
It puts the lotion into
or it gets the hose again. But he says, thank you for the reply on this episode. Another great episode. Yes. I have a young son who has showed interest in the early 2000s animated Justice League and the 1994 Spider-Man animated series. I want to start reading him comics, but I know a lot of them can be more adult-oriented. What is a good child-friendly comic line to start him on? That's a good question. I mean, it's hard because most of what I read is not the kid-friendly, but I would say Spider-Man is probably going to be a good choice. Now, there's going to be some, depending on what lines you read. The newer Miles Morales, his origin story, I think, would probably be good. Anything that hits your mind is for younger readers?
No. I would just say, they pretty much comic books for the most part is a reflection of everyday life.
Yeah.
Just like you can, tell your kid to go down this street as opposed to that street, because what's on that street. You can do pretty much the same thing with comics. Now, you cannot protect the child from everything.
Sure.
Right? They're going to see, hear, experience something outside of your ability to control. However, with that being said, I would just say simply stay away from anything that has hentai in it. So there's that.
Hentai? What's that?
Porn.
Oh, okay. yes, definitely stay away from that. But I think you could find some Spider-Man stuff. Batman stuff, you got to be careful. There's a lot of adult stuff there. I'd say probably stay away from Daredevil. Captain America, some early stuff.
Why are you saying stay away from it? Is it the violence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I also don't know how old your kid is. So it's like if your kid's, 10, 12, shit, let him read some Batman. Fuck it.
But how are you going to explain to your kid that you're watching this show? I'm just saying.
Yeah, don't let your kids watch us. Ryder Fan 04 is back. We know Ryder Fan. What's up, Ryder Fan? Hey, Mike and Adrian. I was going to comment last week's episode, but I had to go out of town for the week. Oh, he's busy. Wanted to say happy Veterans Day to Adrian.
Thank you.
He says, thanks for your service. He was wondering, how long did you serve, if you don't mind him asking?
8 years.
Wow, you put 8 years into?
Yeah.
No shit. Reading comics now, was wondering what aspects of the Devil's Reign story do you think they'll use in Daredevil Born Again based on how Echo ended? Obviously, we're getting the Kingpin becoming mayor. Yep. The only thing I can think of, unless they start bringing a bunch of characters to have them introduced on screen. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion. You've not read Devil's Reign yet, right?
No.
I think, obviously, the Kingpin mayor. I do think we'll see Kingpin put together, because in the comics, he puts together almost like a police force with superheroes and villains. So he kind of has this like ultimatum, like you're not allowed to be a superhero anymore.
Right.
Like you can still live in the city and do things, but you can't use your powers for anything.
Right.
And then he offers up, and I do think some heroes actually take this deal too. Like if you want to be part of my police force, though, you can use your powers to take down other superheroes that are using their powers illegally.
Right.
Right. So I could see him do something like that. Maybe it's with the Thunderbolts, I don't know, maybe puts together his own team. I do think he's going to go after Spider-Man and Daredevil. And I think the other thing that they might pull from there, Devil's Reign starts with Fisk knowing Daredevil's true identity. And I forget how, I've only read the storyline once. Somehow he loses his memory and he loses that part of it. And eventually it comes back to him. So I could see them probably doing something with that, him finding out who Daredevil is and then maybe losing that. But there's Devil's Reign, great storyline. OVO. I wonder if is that a Drake reference? By the way, Kendrick Lamar says nothing to do with anything here. Dropped an amazing album on Friday, so I enjoyed it. He says, question, guys, how do you feel about Denzel in Black Panther 3? I love it. I feel like he's going to play a former king like T'Challa's grandfather or something. So you think, it makes sense, right?
Or T'Challa. Why not?
He's like 60, so there's that.
Yeah, who's jumping out of a jet?
No, Adrian, no. I don't want to see Denzel Washington jumping out of a jet. Broman Williams, so he says, "What's up, Mike and Adrian?" Not gonna lie, I had a little baby tear forming in my eye last week because I didn't hear my name during. We respond. Well, you heard it now, but we saved him for the end, right?
Okay.
He says, "I fucking love this podcast, dude."
Language.
Y'all are the #1 podcast in my opinion. Only fucking comics. Let's go. And he says, "P.S. I said I'm the world heavyweight champion because I'm the king of the comment section now." Dude, I love me some bro, man. Dude, he's a trip. Yo, I saw him on TikTok too. I love when like someone from YouTube comments on TikTok. They're like, "Yo, I'm here too." So I saw Broman Williams on there.
Cool.
It was too big to be called a sword. You remember our guy here.
Yep.
Another great episode, guys. For me, the Multiverse saga gets a lot more hate than it should. I agree with that. I think the shows have mainly let us down with some exceptions like WandaVision, Loki. I think the issue with this saga is a lack of leadership. No Tony, no Cap. A void that I think Chadwick's Black Panther would have filled perfectly alongside Doctor Strange. I agree. My question for you this week is, what are your top 3 costumes/armors? Okay. And he's got some rules for us. He says, Mike, you're not allowed to use Batman. Adrian, you're not allowed to use Iron Man, as I know they would be your first. LOL. Look forward to hearing from your face. Love from London. From London, mate.
Right.
So yes, Batman definitely would have been my #1. Iron Man would have been yours, right?
Yeah.
I would say, now he says costumes, armors. Black Panthers.
Black Panther, Deadpool.
Deadpool, okay. Yeah. I would say Wolverine would probably be my second. And this is again off the top. So you said Black Panther, Deadpool.
I mean, I've
there's a lot.
Wait a minute, are we talking about comics or movies or anything?
I guess anything.
I go with Doom.
Yep.
Doom's uniform.
Yep, that's a badass one.
Yep.
And I think I'd go with the
Galactus.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would go with Magneto's.
Yep.
That's one. And then, so Black Panther, Magneto. Oh, man, it's a toss-up. I say Wolverine. There you go. That's my 3.
I'll do Black Panther, Deadpool, and Doom.
Doom. There you go. There you have it. It was too big to be called a sword. We need a shorter name for you, bro. Never Fail 032. I think they should do a Catwoman spinoff. They already set it up with the letter to Sophia. I would love to see Selena and Sophia interact. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm down
Absolutely,
with it,
dude.
Yeah, put those two on screen. I'd watch them doing anything.
And this is why you shouldn't have your kids watch it.
That's the other stuff. Maple Grove is back. Another great show. Thanks again for answering my question. Of course. Thanks for the suggestions. Always making workday better by listening to you guys. I couldn't agree more. DC Blaze, a great hidden gem, especially since she's getting her own comic series coming up, would be Magic. Ileana Rasputin.
Peter's sister.
Yeah, Colossus' sister. That's a good one. P.S. Love the podcast. You guys do an amazing job. Thank you. JLC Comics, another great show. Thank you, Adrian, for doing my pick, The Punisher. A random question I always ask myself, who would win, The Punisher or John Wick? I always think The Punisher would win, but like to know your guys' thoughts on this. I say Punisher.
I say Punisher. Yeah.
He would punish John Wick, huh? JD Kiwi, greetings from New Zealand. New Zealand down under. Major fan of the show. Listen to it every week. I grew up reading comics, paper, as I'm near Adrian's age than Mike's. Okay.
Is anybody really near my age?
Well, JD Kiwi says he is. Okay. My weekly was 2000 AD, Judge Dredd, and Strontium Dog, and the rest of the team.
Oh, wow, some off-brand comics.
Yeah.
Not off-brand meaning bad, but most people gravitate Marvel or DC.
Right.
It's cool to hear, the other comics.
So you know
coming
these.
Out. Judge Dredd, yes, but the other one I do not.
No, you never heard of 2000 AD?
No.
So
actually, yes,
okay.
I've heard of it.
He said, did these comics ever make it into the States? I'd be interested in an Only Comics review of the cinematic Judge Dredd. Keep up the good work. Okay. So we've seen Judge Dredd comics in the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know about the others, though.
The other one, I believe I seen it like when I was a kid.
2000 AD? Yeah. And then Strontium Dog.
Never heard
of that one. Dude from New Zealand, dude. That's down under and across the pond. So, yeah, appreciate you checking in, JD. Arm Stew. I don't even. Dude, what is arm stew? Just sounds like that's what like a teenager's room would smell like.
Right.
You know, like
right.
I'm like a beef stew kind of guy, not
Right.
really an arm stew. But arm stew says y'all literally have the best podcast ever. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for you guys to blow up. And I have a question for you. Do your guys' kids watch the pod? And if they do they like it? Do any of your kids watch the pod, Adrian?
No.
No.
They get sick of seeing me in the house.
Exactly. Same thing. Now, my kids, they love that I do it and
Right.
support it, and they'll watch some of the shorts and like them.
Right.
But my kids are not sitting down.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. My son sometimes, I was watching it, but I mean, like, he's watching, like, one short playing, Rainbow Six Siege or something. So, no, they wear the merch, though.
Mm-hmm.
I buy more merch for them than I do for anyone else. But
What is happening is that other people's kids is telling my kids that they watch the show.
yes. Yep. That happens in my kids' school. Matter of fact, I did a chaperone a field trip the other day, and it's like one girl's like, hey, my birthday's next week. You think you can get me a hoodie? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not, So nope, they don't, and it's okay. They're gonna reap all the benefits one day, I guess.
Right.
Corey Kyle 87 says, I've not, and this is TikTok, I've not watched Madam Web, The Marvels, or Blue Beetle. If I had to watch one, which should it be?
None of them. No, just joking.
One. Definitely do not watch Madam Web. That's easy.
I would say Blue Beetle.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wait a minute. What was the third one?
The Marvels.
Eh,
It's a toss-up, dude.
I would say.
You know what? Watch them both.
Yeah. If you get out of jail,
Yep.
I would probably say the Marvels.
Yeah, I think, yes, if I'm in jail and I have to watch one of those two to get out, I enjoyed the Blue Beetle, but I think the ending was more obnoxious than the ending of the Marvels.
Well, I mean, again, you got a family that's about to lose their house, yet the uncle has a $200,000 truck, is a Tony Stark. The grandmother is Al Capone,
Yep.
right? And they do all it, and everybody knows how to fly a spaceship.
Right.
But you can't make enough money. It just gets to where it's just nonsense, right?
Yep.
So that's the part. I mean, it's a decent flick. Visually, is very, very attractive.
Yeah.
But the math is not the math.
Yeah, I think it gets too into the ridiculousness,
Right.
And Madam, no, sorry. Oh, my God. I just had a moment. Madam, I don't even want to say it. God, no, the Marvels was not that offensive. Like,
Right.
there was some, like, the Darben character was a little cringe with the grills and stuff. The villain was a little underwhelming, which we're used to with Marvel at times.
Sure.
But I think it was the best Captain Marvel portrayal that Brie Larson has done since
Right,
she's been the
right.
character.
And it's the better of those three movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other two characters added to the movie, Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, and then what's her name? Monica or Maria Rambeau.
Right.
I always get them mixed up. Monica is the daughter? No, Maria is the daughter.
Monica is the daughter.
The daughter, Monica Rambeau's
Right,
character,
right.
who her power set's amazing.
Absolutely.
And she does a great job of portraying that character. So, yeah, the more I'm talking about it, I'd much rather watch the Marvels.
Yeah.
And the powers look cool. Like that part with, and I don't want to spoil it for Corey Kyle here, but what we see Captain Marvel do at the end is like amazing looking. John Bon Von says, hey, it's me, John Bon Von. He's on TikTok too. So what's up, John Bon Von?
Nice.
Adam Baker says, how is Cap 2 Winter Soldier not on either of their lists? So there was a short where we did our list. You know how, Adam? Because it's our fucking list. Like, people are like mind boggled that, somebody has a different opinion. Like, how is this even possible? Very fucking simple, dude. You know how? Because I made my list. You made your list,
I
right?
made my list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Adam Baker didn't make my list.
Right.
I guess if I asked you to make my list, then it would be on there, Neodad5 says Scarlet Witch. It's just like, dude, like,
My God, read the room.
seriously, dude. Neodad5 says Scarlet Witch versus Dark Phoenix. Fire. Would love to see that on film.
Ooh.
Yes.
Who you think will win?
I was about to ask you, since you asked me first, Dark Phoenix.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Now, it would be a hell of a fight, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It'd be like if you took, without prep time, Daredevil and Batman and made them fight.
Right.
Like, they would, it'd go to the death.
Yeah. It would definitely be that.
Yeah. It'd be whoever landed the last shot, pretty much. But I think Dark Phoenix but it's hard to Wanda if the Darkhold, all her reality bending powers. Like, would Phoenix even know where she is?
Right. Well, think about it. Dark Phoenix is an entity that roams around, so it's very old.
Yeah,
roams around looking for. It's attracted to. Now the Phoenix power is so great that the Dark Phoenix is attracted to it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And the fact that we have not, they've did such a tremendous job portraying Wanda's power, and such a shitty job portraying even the Phoenix's power. That's more than the Dark Phoenix. We don't know the full potential or extent of the Dark Phoenix's power.
Right.
But it would definitely be a bloodbath, like at a cosmic, galactic, multiverse level.
Sure.
But I think it would be Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, even the Scarlet Witch is almost like an entity that embodies Wanda too, from a dark. I mean, it would be. I'd love to see it. Let's put it that way. I agree. Would love to see that on film, Nia Dad.
I mean, I would love to see either one of them win.
Yeah.
In any case, I just want to see the match.
Yeah.
It'd be like two Mike Tyson, younger version of Mike Tyson fighting each other.
Right.
Speaking of that, ever since I saw that fake fight,
yep.
That shit coming out of Iron Man's the repulsor looks like that snot that was coming out of Mike Tyson's nose.
Wait, go to the watch. You're talking about this, right?
Yep.
Actually, here, these.
Yeah. And then when he trembles over to the corner and the guy quickly runs up, it's like a long. I'm like, dude, I want to throw up every time I think about
wipe that shit up, dude. Last one, David beats Slives. So this is not really a comment. It was on one of our agree disagree videos, one of our takes. He at another comic account, Comics Related 2.0. So here's what I'm going to say about doing that shit. First of all, this account, when we were brand new, we had some take, and they made videos talking shit about our take, which some of these guys have done.
Sure.
Which, hey, do whatever you want. But here's my stance on that. Fuck y'all. Because, you were basically doing shit telling people not to watch our stuff, which is fine.
Right.
But don't come in on our page, on our takes, on our videos, and tag these guys and ask them their takes. Go to fucking Comics Related and ask him his own take.
Right.
There's one comic podcast on TikTok that never did that shit to us, and it's the Escape Pod. So kudos, cheers to those guys. I think they're great. Everybody else, fuck y'all. Anyways, that's just how I feel today, dude. I woke up, as Kendrick Lamar said, I woke up and chose violence, Adrian. Okay, so moving on. That's We Respond, but I appreciate everybody who chimed in, all the regulars. But yes, Dave beats Slives, and everyone else who wants to tag any of these other comic counts, fucking don't. Unless it's the Escape Pod. They're awesome. So there you go. Hidden Gem, Adrian. That whole paper, is that all the requests from the past few weeks? Because they're racking up, dude.
No.
But what do we got going on this week on Hidden Gem?
Actually, so this week, I'm not doing anybody's requests.
Okay.
Right? But this is going to be interesting because we talked about a lot.
Yes.
So what does Galactus, the Fantastic Four, Jocasta, and Agatha Harkness have in common?
Man, I was going to say Doom at first, but then you threw Agatha in there. Something to do with death?
Nah.
No.
Herbie.
Herbie?
You never heard of Herbie?
I don't even know who you are.
Humanoid experimental robot, B-type, integrated electronics, Herbie. Herbie is synonymous with the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
So so the way it came around was he was created by Mr. Fantastic and Master Zar of the Xandarians, hoping that they can find to search for Galactus. So they built this robot to search for Galactus because they sought his aid in defeating this villain known as the Sphinx. You ever heard of the Sphinx?
No.
So I'll do him later. Well, I'll do a hidden gem on him later, right? Okay. So obviously it was this powerful being that they needed Galactus's help with. I mean, you were talking about Reed Richards, right? So they needed this help. So they built this robot to help find Galactus. Well, when they built him, what they was unaware of that the essence of this villain of Master Zar, Dr. Sun, was in the computers of Master Zar's homeworld, right? So when they built Herbie, he went over, possessed Herbie.
Okay.
So they never really got Herbie in the beginning. They always had this, this presence. And this presence went through and it like trapped Sue and Johnny in the Baxter. I mean Sue and the Thing in the Baxter building. It jumped out of Herbie, got into the Baxter building because the Baxter building not only is all computerized, but I don't know if you ever seen like a slice view of the Baxter building, but I mean, they can launch rockets out of this thing. Yeah. I mean, it's all kind of weapon
there's portals
systems
and shit.
Yeah, there's all kind of shit in there, right? So when he got out, Herbie actually came to life or came to the forefront, right? And Herbie realized that, well, this entity could jump back into me at any time. So what he did was he basically slammed himself into the computer system, killing himself and the entity that was in it, right? So now Reed, liking that robot, has then built, like Tony Stark, he built multiple versions of this Herbie.
Yeah. One
of the Herbies was the babysitter for Franklin, right? So basically an AI in a little robotic body.
Yeah.
So Sue, Reed, Johnny, Ben, they would go off on these adventures and leave little Franklin, with Herbie.
Okay.
Well, when Franklin...
Wait, is that the connection to Agatha? Because Agatha was his babysitter too?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So Franklin, when his power starts to develop, there's a scene in where Herbie starts to smoke and shit. So Franklin basically not only destroyed Herbie, but he also destroyed all the computer systems, all the electronics in the Baxter building when his power starts to manifest. But yes, that's the connection to Agatha. The older version of Agatha, not the one that we're seeing now.
Got it.
She was Franklin's nanny. Right.
Okay.
So there's been different versions, like I said, of Herbie, but he was basically a helper. He's always been some kind of helper. Now, whether it's finding Galactus or, helping Reed go to other portals and all this other, or washing dishes or babysitting, he was always some kind of a helper. Well, when Valerie was born, right? Valerie is who they say is like this, even smarter than her father, right? When Valerie was born, she reprogrammed a version of Herbie to release him from the confines of the Richards family, right? So one of the trivia thing is that apparently Herbie hated them to be in the Reed Richards family.
Oh, damn.
Because when Valerie took off that inhibitor, he left them like immediately, cursing them out, all kinds of shit, dude.
Shit.
So that was funny. But so he became part of this AI revolution, established that, and then the AI revolution was stopped by, and here's the other connector, Jocasta, who's another AI, right? We did a hidden gem on Jocasta.
Yeah.
That's the one where Ultron made out of the likeness of Henry Pym's wife.
Got it.
So Jocasta stops the AI revolution, but basically Herbie is a series of helper robots that has done everything from he was built to find Galactus, but mainly a helper around the Richards residence. Powers, I mean, he's a robot, so basically he can interface with any computer system anywhere and other types of electronics. He can be outfitted with pretty much any type of weapon. Flight, obviously, because he was only probably about this big.
Yeah.
So he moved around essentially through flight. So that's this week's hidden gem. Not a well-known character, but a beloved character. Now, the reason that he even existed was because, and we were talking about all these, Sony buying rights to Spider-Man and all this other kind of shit. Well, when the Fantastic Four show came out, I believe it was in 78, the animated series. Well, the Human Torch was scooped up by, I believe, Universal to do a solo program. So, so they couldn't use the Human Torch in that animated series, but they wanted to keep the Fantastic Four as a unit.
Yeah.
So Herbie became that fourth person
Okay.
to replace the Human Torch.
Wow.
So a lot of little stuff, but not a Doctor Doom.
Right.
But I think again this is one of those kind of helper characters that's part of something that's more well known and just pretty much shaped all these things. So
Nice. Herbie's also going to be in Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yep.
So, dude, the more, I guess, the closer we get to this movie, there was some set photos of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. He put on some mass too. Like, not that Reed's jacked, Reed's more skinny, but I mean, Pedro's a smaller guy usually, so he kind of not bulked up, but he looks fit. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But I thought he looks the part, dude. It was I like the transformation.
They're like, I'm trying to think of, Edward, that whole family when they walked into the school for the first time and they're all pale and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what this version of the Fantastic Four looks like to me. They're all paled out, and Pedro to me just
not doing it yet.
Not doing it yet.
But do you think he'll be able to pull off the character though, from an acting standpoint?
Listen, the fact that they screwed, Reed and the whole Fantastic Four in the previous movies. I mean, sure, he could pull it off.
I know it was only a brief cameo, but John Krasinski, whoever played him in the Doctor Strange movie.
I think I think that works.
Yeah.
It's just something about Pascal, just like not quite there.
Okay.
But Krasinski,
Got it. Now I'm a huge Pedro Pascal fan. I'm on the side of I think he'll knock it out of the park. But remains to be seen.
Sure.
Right. Now, first of all, great hidden gem, Herbie. I have seen him in some comics. When you said the name, I'm like, who the fuck's Herbie? But I looked at him like, yes, I've seen this robot. There's some rumors about Secret Wars, and there was so much Secret Wars, so I didn't include this in thumbs up or thumbs down, but about the Council of Reeds being featured. So we've read Secret Wars 2015, and even the original, you see multiple versions of characters. So that's going to happen here. The Maker is an evolved form of Reed, the one that wears the mask, who's a bad. There's a rumor that he'll show up for a few minutes, but there's also rumors that the John Krasinski, and I'm probably saying the name wrong, but whatever, you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
His Reed Richards would show up. Even the guy who played them in the earlier movies, the first two. So have the Maker, was that Secret Wars story the first time you introduced to the Maker?
Let me see. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was for me. But dude, that's a badass because he's almost like a villain,
Right.
So I'm down with that. I'd love to see that on screen. The Council of, or not the Council of Reed, whatever the fuck it's called. The group of Reeds. We'll put it that way.
Well, I mean, the Richardson do some pretty crazy shit because I think Franklin evolves himself into an adult, goes back in time, impregnates his mother.
Oh.
Was that Franklin or was that somebody else?
Let's hope it wasn't.
I think it was Franklin.
Damn.
So it's weird, dude. I mean, that whole family, then Valerie, I mean, how much smarter can you be, dude?
Right.
Over Reed.
Which is the point where she's almost predicting the future just based off of how smart she is.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I mean, hearing this too, I'm glad that they're gonna have Herbie in the movie. Right. That's a cool. I'm looking forward to this Fantastic Four movie.
And the thing about it is that when I was doing my checks on Herbie, I didn't even know that he was going to be in the movie until I started. It just happened. Yeah. I'm like, we've talked so much about how can I tie all this together, and then I started looking at some things with Herbie.
Yeah.
Just doing some fact checks, and it's like, oh, he's going to be in this movie in 2025. I'm like,
shit.
Cool.
It was meant to be, dude.
It was meant to be.
Well, another 5-star. Maybe we should ask, another comic account what they think of the Hidden Gem, or not. So that's Hidden Gem. What we got going on next? We're gonna wrap this up with a little agree to disagree. What do we got coming next week, Adrian? We're gonna do some Court of Owls next week. You think?
Yeah.
We'll do a deep dive into that. But for now, we are going to wrap up with some agree to disagree.
Let's fucking go.
Let's do it. This is where I rapid fire 10 of my opinions at Adrian, and he lets us know if he agrees or not. And then a bunch of you cry, bitch, and complain and bring other people into the fold that don't need to be here.
Where's the 900 employee dude? I got 900
Oh, yeah, where is that guy?
followers or whatever.
900,000,
Oh,
he said. Yeah. Where is that guy? No idea. He's still working on that video. He's got businesses to run, Adrian.
Hey.
Basically, it was Bruce Wayne. He's that busy. Yeah.
There you go.
Or not. Probably go with no. Anyways, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Daredevil Season 1 was better than The Penguin. Well, you were starting with the hard questions.
Disagree.
The X-Men have not truly been done justice in live action yet.
Agree.
The best X-Men portrayal on screen so far was X-Men 97 by a long shot.
Agree.
Marvel needs to bring Jonathan Majors back as Kang in Secret Wars.
Agree.
Dark Phoenix.
Hold on.
Oh.
So does that mean Doom doesn't show up?
Nope. I keep what we're doing with Doom. I'm not saying base the story around him, but at least give him a shot to be
Like a cameo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, because Kang wasn't a main character in either Secret Wars, but he was in. I think he was in. I know he's definitely in the first one. I don't remember if he was in the second one or not.
Maybe Kang will replace Molecule Man.
There you go. So bring him back. Number 5, Dark Phoenix would beat Scarlet Witch.
Agree.
Rebecca Romaine's Mystique was leaps and bounds better than the Jennifer Lawrence version.
Absolutely.
We do not need a Clayface movie.
We do not.
Without prep time, Batman would be any non-powered superhero or villain.
Without prep time.
Yep. Non-powered.
Non-powered. Disagree.
Disagree. Damn.
Because I'm thinking Slade Wilson,
Okay.
Terminator.
Yep.
Yeah, him
All right.
alone.
Him alone. Got it. Okay.
Wait a minute, but he is enhanced though.
Slade is?
Yeah, I think he's enhanced though, by some serum or something.
Okay. So.
Is that what you mean by
non-powered?
Anything.
Like he's fighting Daredevil. He's fighting he's fighting Tony Stark with no suit, like shit like that.
If in that case, yes, I agree.
Okay, you agree. We should all watch Iron Man 3 to start the Christmas season.
There you go.
It's time, dude. Thanksgiving's here, right? Now, you on the Christmas train yet?
Yeah. Am I what?
Are you on the Christmas train yet?
I'm on the Christmas.
Okay.
Dude, I'm trying to be respectful to those people that don't understand that Thanksgiving is just a speed bump. I mean, I love Thanksgiving, but it's just been disrespected over the years, dude. It's like you go you walk into the store for Halloween.
Yep.
And then as soon as Halloween's over, you see the Halloween stuff on sale, and Christmas stuff has replaced it.
Right.
You don't see nothing Thanksgiving-y anywhere in the stores. There's nothing, dude.
No. I look at it like Thanksgiving is part of Christmas, and that's how I deal with it. Okay, it's a psychological switch I made.
There we go.
I think you just convinced me of something. Since you agreed, why don't we push Court of Owls back a couple weeks?
Okay.
And watch Iron Man 3 and come here and talk about Iron Man 3, dude. We've not talked about any Iron Man movies here, ever.
No.
It's your favorite guy.
Yep.
Robert Downey Jr. is coming back.
Right.
Iron Man 3 is a perfect Christmas movie.
Sure.
Might as well, let's do that. We'll kick off the season. So, how you feel? You agree or disagree with that?
I agree. We had it. We don't have to discuss it, but since we bringing up movies, let's do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the Christmas special. Fuck it. I'm down, dude. You one-upped me there. All right, we'll bang them out both. So, anyways, last one. Go get yourself an early Christmas present from onlycomicsmerch.com. Now that there's international shipping.
There you go.
There you go. So
as we are becoming more and more international.
Absolutely. We're going to be Only Comics International pretty soon.
Oh, wow.
We change the whole name,
That sounds sexy.
Maybe we should ask comics related what they no. Hey, fuck those guys. Anyways, I mean, it's all for fun, but not really. That's the show. I had fun. Did you have fun, Adrian?
I had fun, dude.
It's fun with Mike and Adrian.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the way we roll.
One day that will be the show, and it will be like 90% other stuff and like a couple comments.
Right?
Who knows? Maybe. We can't make any promises, but we appreciate you guys checking us out. Everyone on We Respond, keep dropping comments. That's become one of my, I guess, most fun segments because we have awesome tribe of followers and subscribers.
I like that.
We come up with a name, like Beyonce has her beehive. I don't know. It's just, maybe not.
Well, let's not call it Beehive.
You don't call it the beehive?
No.
They are only our fans.
Yep.
That's too
There
close
you
to
go.
only fans. But anyways, we appreciate all the love online. I appreciate the hate too. Keep talking shit because it motivates us to say fuck you all. But the real ones that are with us, Adrian, it's like our own little justice now. It's like our own Avengers.
There we go.
They're the only comics Avengers. So there you go. Well, appreciate y'all checking us out. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
Life is good, as Adrian's
good.
sweatshirt says. You can't buy that at onlycomicsmerch.com, but you can get this hat and you can get this. So we'll see you next week right here on Only Comics.
Peace.